What is up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of How to Punish, this time starring the Terminator. It's been a while since we've done one of these, mostly because we just do them as the characters come out. I was thinking about maybe doing videos for version 3s, but we'll see. I haven't really encountered many yet, outside of Kotl, and How to Punish that is you don't, and then the other variations I haven't really seen much of online yet. So the more I see stuff, if I see something that needs to be addressed, then maybe I'll do like a little quick video on the third variation of that character. Maybe Jade, because I've run into a few Jades. But yeah, that's not about that now. This is about Terminator. Just to let you guys know, I'm filming this on my stream. So if you see me looking to the right and talking to random people, it's because I'm talking to my chat. So, Terminator, very interesting character. I was talking to Video Games Yo, and he asked me, what do I give Terminator out of 10? I said 8. He said he's broke. Now that's an interesting take. A lot of people seem to think that he's quite strong. I don't know many people that think that he's just straight up busted. But he does have every tool in the game. So I know that sounds broke, but it's the way that he utilizes them can potentially be quite difficult to get in. But once he is in, he pretty much stays in. So we'll start off as normal, and then I'll go. So we're going to go through all 3 of his variations because they're all really powerful and they've all got their own mix-ups and shenanigans. So he's been out for a couple of days, so I've got a better idea about what he is and what he does. But to start off with, we'll just go over some normals. He doesn't have many normals or strings. He's quite a straightforward character, but each variation plays a little bit differently. So we'll talk about his normals and his strings first, and then I'll get into the specifics of how each variation plays once we get to it. So if we just stick this bug lady on block, boom. All right, standing 1. Oops, where's the frame data? Okay, standing 1, 7 frames, -3. It's quite a long range standing 1, you can see. It's because his down 1 is so whack, but we'll talk about that in a sec. So standing 1, quite long range, 7 frames. Back 1. Back 1 is an interesting move. So it's this auto combo. So back 1 does both of these movements. If you can see, very interesting about the move, it has no frame data. If you look at the if you look at the frame data thing, it says -7 on block. It is actually safe because Jordan and I tested this yesterday. So if you get hit by this, he knocks you up in the air and he slams you down in the same way he would with his air grab. But that is actually safe on block, even though it looks like it's not. If you look at Devora, if you see when she actually stops blocking, it's well after he's brought the hand down for the grab. So it looks like it can be punished, but it can't. And it's a mid as well, so be careful. Gutbuster. He actually has a 6 frame down 1 that's -4 on block. So that's amazing. So he's one of 4 characters now that has a 6 frame down 1. The only thing about it is the range is pretty bad. I mean, it's okay, but compared to standing 1, but just be very careful because like Garrus, like Sub-Zero, you're probably going to get a lot of Terminators mashing down 1. Sorry, when they're more or less safe on, or slightly less punishable, because they're going to try and steal their turn back. So be very wary of his down 1. Standing 2, 9 frame, so high. Back 2 is this sort of launcher. So he launches you. It's a standing launch. You don't really see much use of it outside of combos, but it is -9 and a high. Forward 2 is his overhead. Now, this is one of his main moves. Hey, easy Pilko. He's not got the best frames, but his damage, yeah. His damage is really, really good. His frames are pretty decent as well. Sub-Zero is. You mash. Sub-Zero's never stop mashing. You're minus, not you. Sub-Zero's online. Down 1. You're -6. I'm going to hit my 6 frame down 1. Doesn't make a difference. Easy Pilko. How you doing, my man? You good? This is one of Arnie's. This is one of Terminator's main buttons. -2. By itself, -17. It is an overhead, obviously, you have to block it high. But he can lead into all sorts of shenanigans from this. But I'll talk about that more as I get to his variations. But just be careful. If he doesn't, he will always cancel into something off forward 2. But if he doesn't, it's -17. So that is super duper punishable. It doesn't look it because it looks like he recovers quite quickly. But yeah, you can super punish that. Down 2 is his uppercut. His uppercut's a bit weird. It doesn't have any horizontal hitbox, but it's got quite a good vertical one. Standing 3 is a high, -4. Back 3 is a 10 frame mid. So it's -9, so it is unsafe, but again, you'll rarely see a Terminator just start back 3-ing you. But this is used in a similar way that you would use a 9 frame mid. So, you know, hits you with a down 1. If you're going to mash, he'll hit you with the back 3, back 3-1, and then start a combo. But it is unsafe by itself. Forward 3. So this is his low, and this is actually a combo starter. So you can see now why he's a scary character. So he has a low starter and an overhead starter. Again, it'll be very rare for him to just forward 3 you. But if he does just forward 3, if he's trying to open you up, it's -16. So make sure you punish it. Endo Stomp. And then we have the rest of his normals. But see, you say that. So Pilko in chat just says, you need to learn not to duck against him. You do, but then that opens you. As soon as he starts conditioning you with the duck, like you start high blocking, he's going to start hitting you with that. So he's a really tricky character, like Papa just said as well. Once he's in, like he's not got the best ways of getting in, like his neutral's a bit whack, but once he does get in, you know, it's literally a 50-50, you have to guess, low or overhead. But yeah, down 3 is pretty good. It's a very awkward animation, but it's a very, very, very consistent anti-air. So be careful when you're jumping in on Terminator, because standing 1 is a very good anti-air, and down 3 is a very, very good anti-air. This is very similar to Frost's anti-air. So you can see his little... Alright, that's enough of that. Standing 4 is a high, +1. Very similar to Jax's one. His sweep is quite long range, as you can see, because he uses a shotgun. Big boot. So this big boot is -1. It's a 16 frame. It's actually a mid. So he does have an advancing mid. It's not super fast, but it goes quite a long way, as you can see, because he steps forward with his back foot. Terminators tend to use this once they've restood you. I'll show you. I'll show you more of those shenanigans later on. But yeah, that's a mid, even though it looks like a high, and it's safe, -1. And then lastly, you got down 4, which is -8. It's quite a good range, very similar to Aaron Black's sort of down 4, little shimmy. You can see it looks like it hits a little bit further than its hitbox as well. So I mean, I'm hitting him from here. That is ridiculously long range. So there you go. Those are all his normals. He's got a couple of throws, obviously, but there's no crushing blows on his throws. Oh, actually, he does have something else in his normal moves. I will show you if we get her to duck. He's the only character in the game. Oh, gosh darn you. He's the only character in the game that has a crushing blow off his short hop. Why have my settings been erased? Ah, there you go. So yeah, he's the only character in the game that has a crushing blow off his short hop punch button. And that is when he hits you with a counter hit or a punish. Oops. So he does get a pop-up from that into full combat. I've not seen anybody hit it, but I'm sure that there's some shenanigans there. But yeah, so be very wary of that. Again, it's very rare to see. I haven't seen anybody do it so far, but that is a tool that he has. Okay, so let's get into his special moves. I mean, his strings, rather. You can tell it's been a while. So he only has 10 strings. He's a very, 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 very straightforward character. Just enough to fit on the menu as we're going through it. Yeah, we'll talk about. We'll definitely go through all his pressure and stuff when we get to his special moves. Because I'm going to go through the strategy for each variation so that everyone's aware on what they're likely to expect. So why are you ducking, you silly woman? Stand up. So 1, 2. So standing 1 is his 7-frame Punisher, and his max damage combo starter as like a punish is 1, 2, 1. So 1, 2 is -5. 1, 2, 1 -5, and it's both. They're both. It's high, mid, mid. So it's a pretty reliable auto shimmy as well. So be careful if he's mixing you up with throws. It is quite likely that you're going to get opened up with this as well. So just be wary of it. He also has 1, 2, 3, which is his low ender. So. And there's no gaps there. Actually, that's the best. Let's do that this way so you can see as I'm going along. Flawless. So this has no gaps, and this has no gaps. So they're both true strings. I mean, if you're blocking high, he'll just get the knockdown. I mean, it's, you know, reasonable damage. Gets the knockdown, and then he continues the pressure. So all of these strings so far are safe. 2, 1, high, mid, -5. So he's safe again. 2, 1, 2. So this is the first time we see a flawless block in his flawless block gap in his thing. If you see, if he goes for the overhead, he's actually, you can flawless block it. However, I mean, it's -3 when you flawless block it, but when you don't flawless block it, it's +2. So this is where the scariness starts. So if you think that he's going to go for this overhead there, obviously you have to high block it, but the only way to get out the +2 pressure is to flawless block it, and it makes it -3. He's still safe, and he's still likely to press a button afterwards, but he's not at advantage. So try and practice flawless blocking 2, 1, 2, because that last hit is an overhead, and as I said, it is +2. That obviously gives him advantage. -3 on flawless block. So say goodbye. Forward 2. 1, 3. This is a very interesting move because, like the short hop, for the first time, Terminator is a character that has a. So a lot of characters have a 1, 3, as in like a on-hit throw that only comes out if the first part hits. Terminator is the first character in the game that has a throw that comes out even if the first part is blocked. So, if you see, there is a ginormous gap in between throw. That throw is a high. So if you think he's going to do forward 2 into the throw, you can duck it. So if we go to duck again. See? It's a high. So if you block the overhead and you think he's going to go for the throw, you can duck it and get a full punish. So it is a bit cheeky. See, look. She's blocking high, and then she's ducking the low. So if that was a mid, that'd be busted as, but as you can see, it is duckable. But yeah. So that leaves him open because it's -17 essentially. Next string. You'd think I'd have learned how to navigate these menus by now. Back 3, 1. So this is off his 10-frame starter. -7. That's safe, more or less. And then you got back 3, 1, 2, which is -8, which is not safe, but he pushes you back far enough that you're not going to be able to punish it. The thing with this string as well is there's no gaps. So that's a lot of the thing with these Punisher. I keep calling him the Punisher with these Terminators. Shouts forward 3, Just forward 3 does a throw, forward 3, 4, 1, 3, but you can block the throw. This is the first throw in the game in a string that comes out that will hit you even if you're blocking it unless you duck it. So that's the mix-up. Yeah, it's unblockable, but you can duck it. Yeah. So no gap with back 3-1-2. And this is where we start getting into a little bit shenanigans, but again, I'll talk about this in a second in more detail. So, forward 3 minus 17, forward 3-2 is an overhead. This is his main combo starter, right? One of the main ones to catch you out. Forward 3-2, bonks you on the head, pops you up, starts the combo. Thing is, this is definitely flawless blockable. So I'll show you that, so you don't think I'm a liar. Because I do lie a lot, you know. Flawless block, minus 7. So, I think that even has a gap big enough to poke. Let's record Terminator doing it. No. Oh, it does. 7 frame gap. So if you think he's going to go for the overhead, if you've got a 7 frame gap, 7 frame button, at least, it's got at least a 7 frame gap. So you can actually poke there. And the thing is as well, if we go back to forward 3-4, which is also flawless blockable, this also has a ginormous gap in it. So, if I show you again, oh, it's actually got a crushing blow. I'll talk about that in a sec. So you block it. Come on, man. It does have a gap, I swear. Maybe it doesn't. Okay. So forward 3-4 doesn't have a gap. Oh, I was sure that it did. But it does not. But it is super flawless blockable. So, both of these options, 4-3-2 and 4-3-4, are super flawless blockable. And if you block forward 3-2, then if you think he's going to do 4-3-2, then it does have a massive gap that you can punish. So don't let him get away with that. That's not free. You know, the mix-up is either he's going to go for the low mid or the low overhead, but if you get hit with just the mid, actually he does have a crushing blow that if just the mid hits, he launches you. So if I show you, but only if the first, so if he does forward 3-4 and the forward 3 misses and he hits you with the 4, then it causes a crushing blow that knocks you up. But if you just get hit with the 4, it's just, you just get hit with the 4. It's not a crushing blow. So yeah, those are his strings. As you can see, very straightforward. It's just a low overhead mix up, right? You just have to guess. Either he's going to go for the forward 2, and if he goes for forward 2, he can go into the throw. If he's going to go for a back forward 3, and then he can go for an overhead again. So, a weird character. The thing is, a lot of people are already blocking it online from what we were seeing yesterday. So, it's not that difficult to read. And like I said, once you've figured out how big, he doesn't have a lot of gaps. So once you can practice to see where the gaps are, and when you can start flawless blocking this stuff and making it not plus and not safe, that's when you start to make him a little bit less scary. But he is a very straightforward character. So special moves, we'll talk about his universal special moves. And then I'll talk about his special moves in this variation. And then I'll talk about special moves that are specific. So, hey Ferrator, how's it going, man? So his first universal move is his patented shotgun. So, shotgun, super slow, super minus on block if he does it up close. He can amplify it 3 times. All are unsafe. If you see, there's 3 high. They're all high as well. So why is my meter not coming back now? So I literally I've had all of my settings erased. So you can punish that, but he does have the ability to move backwards and forwards with it. So be careful if you think that he's going to come forward at you. If he's about here and he starts to shotgun you and he moves forward, you try to punish it, and then he moves back and shoots you. Oh, and the back one is a mid. That's interesting. Hang on a minute. So the 3 forward ones are a high, but the back ones are a mid? Oh, that's interesting. So, if he moves forward, all 3 are highs. I didn't know that. But if he moves backwards, they're mids. Very interesting. So you have to be careful about that too. I had no idea. I just realized that now when I saw mid come up. So yeah, if you think he's going to move forward, you can duck it. But if he's moving backwards, you have to respect it. Because it's a mid. And he has a crushing blow on it as well. If he misses twice, the 3rd one becomes a crushing blow. So be careful with that. But it is punishable. Even the mid, I mean, it'd be quite hard to punish that one unless you've got a long range normal. Maybe Devora or somebody like that can. Or if you've got a fast reversal like a slide or a like Sub-Zero slide or Rhino charge, you can definitely punish this even if he's moving backwards. So again, this isn't free. Gorilla Plus Slam is his command throw. If I can do it. So this is an interesting move. He can either put it in front of him, he can amplify it and throw you. So his the normal version is he throws you behind. This is the high as well, so you can duck this. Why is my executions about slow? It is a high command throw, so you can duck it. But he can throw you behind him. If he amplifies it, he can throw you in front of him, and he can amplify it again. How do I get? If you press his down and amplify, he can actually amplify you for a restand, and he's plus 10. So you can jump out of this. This isn't a real like a proper restand. Every single time, I was joking about it with yeah, you can mix. Yeah, thank you, Papa. You can mix the directions of the shotgun too. So you can go forward, back, or you know, forward, back, or forward, back. You know, however you want to do it. So just be very careful. See, you can do a little dance. But yeah, the command grab. If he restands you, he's got 10 frames of advantage. So he puts you about here. So there's not a lot he can do here. But if you do press a button, he can hit you with forward 4. And then forward 4 can lead to, he can confirm that into another one of his special moves and knock you down. And that's when the pressure starts. So you can jump it. If he uses this on you, I've not seen jump lose to anything yet. Because I was joking with Jordan about it. I was saying, oh, it doesn't matter if you've got 10 frames of advantage if you fight a Kung Lao and he just jump dive kicks you. And then literally the first game we've played was against a Kung Lao and he just jumped out of it every time. So you can jump it if he's got the restand. Not that I condone jumping out of things all the time, but you know, this is a how to punish guide. So if he restands you from here, then yeah, just try jumping. He might be able to hit you with a standing 4 if he gets the read, and a forward 4 will catch you as well. So be careful, because plus 10 is a lot of advantage. And then the last move that he has universally is this, called Killing Machine. It's a projectile hold. He holds his, he turns his back to you, and it absorbs 2 projectiles. So if we record Devora doing a projectile, come on, man, amp it. So you see, you don't even take chip. So you literally just absorb. You turn your back to it, and the projectile don't exist. It only absorbs 2 hits, though. You can hold it for 2, so you can do it for 1 if you want. If you can just do it, if you just want to do it just for 1. Oops, it's time that. So you can do one if you want. Can you duck? No. So you can hold it for one, but you can hold it for two as well. It only absorbs two. It doesn't absorb any more than that. But it's a bit of a weird move. So if he's absorbing your projectiles and you're thinking, oh crap, I can't keep shooting projectiles because he's absorbing them. He doesn't get anything from this. This isn't like a Kotal parry or a Cabal parry or something like that, or a reflect where it will bounce back at you. He literally just absorbs it and doesn't take any chip. But there's no offensive ability to this. So if he's full screen and he's just walking forward slowly and hitting you with this, with a little dab, then don't stop throwing projectiles at it. Because if you look, it takes ages to recover. If you've got a 3 hitting projectile like Nightwolf's Amplified Bow and Arrow, you'll hit him because it only absorbs 2. So yeah, don't let this scare you. Basically, it's a decent move, but it's not anything. He can't like cancel from it into anything, or once he's absorbed anything. So yeah, don't be afraid of that. And now he's got 3 variations. The first of which is Destroyer. Destroyer is, hey, howdy KitCon, how you doing, man? Yeah, so Destroyer is the more, if we just go, I'll just set it here so you can just see that I'm actually definitely using the tournament variations. So Destroyer is the first variation. This is more of the combo heavier sort of mix up potentially, because it's got some mix, but it's mostly the combo potential. So in this one, let me show you the special moves. So he has Infiltrator Toss, which is the air grab you just saw, Cyber Rift, and Endo Lunge. So Infiltrator Toss is an air grab, but the most times that you'll see this being used is in a combo. So he'll be able to do something like, hold on. Oh, block is off. Has it got rid of my settings again? No. Okay, so he'll do something like this. So you're not going to see it mostly. I've not seen many Terminators use it as an anti-air because his standing 1 and down 3 are such good anti-air. So you probably won't have to worry about that as a straight anti-air, but it's a move that he gets in this variation, and he can amplify it for a pop-up into, you know, fairly respectable damage. But yeah, that's the first move he gets in the second first variation. The second move he gets is called Cyber Rift. Now this is where he starts to get a bit tricky. So this is a low. It's got quite a long range, so be careful of it. It works very similarly to Jax's ground pound. It's got more range, so if you can see, it hits you from quite far away, right? But he can amplify it at the cost of one of the grenades on his belt, and it goes full screen. So it's a little bit slow to get there. You can see it travels full screen, right? So be very careful of this, because this is where the shenanigans start to come in. Because, and this works with his other special move as well, which I will, which I'll talk about in a sec. But if we put this on stance block, this is where it starts to get a bit tricky. See, so you block high for the overhead, and you go to duck low for the throw, and he hits you with this. So, see, you get hit with forward 3, and then you think, oh, he's going to go for the overhead now. I've blocked the forward 3. So this is a very, very, very strong special move. The thing is with it though, if you do block it, why do I keep going there? It is death on block, minus 18. So if he does this from close, you have to be very, very careful to make sure that you punish it straight away. So it's a very strong move from a distance. One of his best range moves in the Destroyer variation. But also remember, he can combo into it from blocked strings. So you have to be wary of that too, because he can do that at any time. But if you do block it, if you do get the read, minus 18, super duper punishable. The other one of his moves, which makes this variation a bit more tricky, is his endo lunge. So it's this overhead. It's actually an overhead, so you have to block it high. And it's minus 6, so it is actually safe, which is a bit ridiculous, really. But it works very similarly to Shao Kahn's hammer, the hammer leap, which is minus 7, so that's safe too. It works in exactly the same way, except this is. Oh no, you can amplify that too, yeah. So yeah, sorry, this is minus 6. That's minus 7. So this is also where the shenanigans come into play. Because if he has an unsafe string, for example, or you try and flawless block something, for example, if you try and get a read or interrupt something with a forward 3-2, he can do forward 3 into endo lunge. So, or again, forward 2 into endo lunge. And these are true block strings, you can't interrupt those. So this is where he starts to get scary. In this variation, no, it's not safe, it's minus 6. So this is where the strength of this variation sort of lies, I think, in that obviously he does have the restand, which makes him plus 10. He can get you from there. But the main thing about this variation is his ability to mix up those special moves. And both of these special moves have more, I would say, more practical utility in the sense of making you duck one thing and then you get hit by another thing than his other variations. And he's also got the infiltrator toss, which gives him the most damage. So this is the variation where I think he's going to get a lot of damage. The third variations, there seem to be some tricky combos too, but we'll get to that when I start talking about it. So the other thing that you have to be worried about, which is in all variations actually, but I'll talk about it in this one, is he also has a restand with the amplified shotgun. So if we take her off block for a moment. So remember I was telling you about the shotgun. Plus 16. So this is where he gets really scary. Hey, easy Nick. See, people are very, very polarized. Gains and Games, overrated. Galloping Sumo thinks he's okay. You know, Papa thinks he's good. At the moment, he is very polarizing. Yeah, he is still new, but this is where you have to be very. And he can do this in every variation because this is shotgun is a universal tool. If he gets you with the what am I doing? If he does the amplified shotgun ender, he's plus 16 and he's right next to you. So you have to be very careful here because from here, like I said before, if he gets you with the plus 10 restand with the command throw, he's about this far away, right? So he can probably hit you with a boot and then get you into an air throw. If he hits you with the plus 16, that means he's got 16 frames of advantage, right? At the cost of a bar for him to do something else, you know, whatever into full combat. And that is when that's when it's a guess. You have to guess. So yeah, be very, very careful. If he hits you with the amplified shotgun as a combo ender, he's plus 16. So be wary of that. But yeah, that's this variation. It's more, this variation's, I mean, obviously he has the shotgun restand in every variation, but this variation I think is more about mixing you up, hitting you with the overhead, going for the low, and then, you know, that's a combo. So it's not, you can amplify it and shoot you. You know, makes you block high, hits you with the low. So yeah, this variation does a lot of damage. He can get you, like, as you saw, this like super basic combo. I did 35% one bar. 34%. That is like the absolute easiest combo in the world to do. So 34% for the very basic combos is really good damage. But yeah, this variation is more about the combos, more about the mix-ups, more about making you guess. So yeah, but be careful. As I said, this is the endo lunge is safe, so you can't punish it. It's minus 6. And you'll probably try and do a down one afterwards to be cheeky, but endo lunge isn't. It is safe, Cyber Rift is completely unsafe. So if you block the Cyber Rift, make sure you punish it. So we'll go into his second variation now, which is Dark Fate. So whereas the first variation is more about combos and sort of mixing you up with his special moves, this variation is the grappling variation. So the moves that he gets in this one is the I'll Be Back Breaker, which is hilarious. The Running Man, Command Run, and then Death Grip. So we'll go over these two first, and then I'll show you Death Grip. So I'll Be Back Breaker, as you can see, changes the animation. Usually throws you back. He can throw you forward. And he just throws you back again. But this is a very interesting move. So this is also a high, I believe. Yeah, it's also a high. But this has a very interesting property. So if he hits you with it, and he's hit all three, he actually gets a pop-up. So it works very similarly to Jackie's clinch, where she'll clinch you, she hits the three variations, and then the third one gets her a pop-up. It works exactly the same way. So it's still a high command grab like the other one, but he just has more options from it. If he hits you with all three, he does get a pop-up. He doesn't in the other variation. But this is what makes the Running Man stance is what makes him scary in this variation. We'll just show you this because it's really funny. Oh no, hold on. I want him to fall over. Eh. No, what did he say to Jackie? Sorry, that just makes me laugh every time. Just the way he goes bleh and falls over. But this is a scary variation because so if we put her on block, he can cancel it at the cost of a defensive bar with 4. He can kick, which is safe, -7. But the two scary parts of it are the tackle and the punch. So, I'll Be Back Breaker and the other command throw and the other variation are high, so you can duck them. However, in the Running Man variation, that is a mid. So this tackle, if he gets it, is a mid. So if we just to show you. So you cannot duck it. So if he gets a read, he'll do something like, so you know you've blocked the 1-2. You're like, yeah, I blocked it. Whoop, and then he goes into something like that. So this is where the shenanigans start, right? He can do it off any. You can do it off anything. Obviously, you can cancel into overhead. You know, you've blocked high and then he tackles you, or he can cancel Running Man into anything. So you have to be careful about him cancelling into stuff. But that is a mid. But this is what I mean. This is where it gets scary, because he also has the punch. So you can see the punches are high. So if you get the read and you think he's gonna do the tackle, you can. You think he's gonna do the punch. You can duck it and get a punish. Because that's got 30 frames of recovery, so you can hella punish that. However, this is where the conditioning starts. So, if we put her to jump, if you think, right, I got the read. Hold on. Boom. She launches you. And the thing is, this is safe on block as well. So, and he can actually get a combo of that if you're good enough. So that's where the scary thing is. If you think, oh, I'm going to jump it, I've got the read on the command throw, I'm going to jump it, he's going to hit you with the punch. So this is where the scary bits come into it now. And in this variation, he also has an air grab, which I'll talk about in a sec. But that's the main mix-up you have to be concerned with in this variation. Is the from the running man stance, is he going to go for the mid throw or the high uppercut, which launches? And that's just a 50-50. You just have to guess, because there's no way of telling what he's going to do. If he's conditioned you with the throw and you think, right, I'm going to jump this, that's when he's going to start punching you. And then, especially in the corner, that's a full combo. So yeah, just be very, very careful. It's a very tricky variation. Yeah, run, uppercut, yeah, confirm into the shotgun, So it's about mixing you up with that stance. And if you guys want to explore a bit more online, there's a lot of really dirty mix-up stuff. And so I'll show you the last move in this variation is the death grip. So if we get her to jump, that's what it looks like, right? So it's normal air throw. However, if you amplify it, I'm pressing L1 to amplify it. Oops. You fly off into the distance. That doesn't have frame data on it, but that is a very, very, very strong restand that has enough advantage that you can combo into it. So this is where the shenanigans start to come in, because he can combo into the air grab, and then he can combo after the air grab into more stuff. So especially in the corner, this variation is devastating. I think they're all pretty devastating, with the overhead low mixes, but this variation, especially in the corner, seems to be quite terrifying. Oh, he also has I forgot to show you because it's quite funny as well. He also has a crushing blow on the running man stance. If he tackles you, he can amplify it, and he steps on your nuts. But if he amplifies it, he just steps on your bits. But the requirement for that is after he's run a certain distance. So there are setups that people have that mean that if you do the run, like he can get a knockdown and then start running, and even though he's running this close to you, because he's run that distance, he can amplify it and get a crushing blow. So be wary of that too. It's a bit of a weird mechanic, because it doesn't mean distance run, it means the amount that he's run, so the time running. So it's not that he has to sprint from down here downtown and do it. It's even if he's this close to you and he does it, because it's just the time he's been running, not the distance. So yeah, this variation is very tricky. And lastly, speaking of tricky, is his third variation, which is Final Judgment. So, this variation only has 2 special moves, but these special moves are quite powerful. He has the rolling arm grenade. Where's the other one? Oh, and the incapacitator. So, we'll talk about the grenade first. The grenade works very similarly to the Jason Todd mine in Injustice 2, the Red Hood mine. Gets a pop-up, continues a combo, etc. Oh, he doesn't have the air throw in this one, but he does. He can just get normal combos with that as a pop-up. This is more of like a setup, sort of set play system. You can see in the corner, you can put it underneath somebody, it explodes. That's if you don't amplify. If you do amplify, it explodes immediately. That's where the pop-up comes from, and the combo stuff. It's not safe. So if you do block it, -11. So that's the amplified version. The non-amplified version has 30 frames of recovery basically. So if he just does something like there, you can punish him. It's only the amplified version that that pops you up straight away, but it's -11, so it's super unsafe. So if you get a read, he's going to do something like that, -11, punish it every time. But yeah, this is very much more of a pop-up sort of setup sort of variation. And then lastly, which is a very interesting move, he has this He throws a little lighter at you. It's called the incapacitator, and you think, right, that doesn't do a lot of damage. 30 damage, you know, negligible. The thing with this is he can only throw one, so once it's on you, he can't throw another one at you until it goes off. But the terrifying thing about this move, it is a high, so you can duck it, but the terrifying thing about this move is that once it hits you, not only is it unblockable, but it removes your ability to use meter. So, I'll show you what I mean. So if we set Devourer to, actually maybe practice mode will overwrite it, but if we set Devourer to wake up, so waking up costs meter, right? If you were to do a wake up attack. If we switch her off, so we hit her with that, sweet. You see, she doesn't wake up with a special attack because she can't use meter. So you can't use any meter at all. Even if you're on offense, you can't amplify special moves. You can't, if you're on defense, you can't break away. You can't wake up with a special attack. And this is where this variation starts to be terrifying. So if he hits you with a... like, if a combo... My execution is so low. Come on. Boom. You can't wake up with anything. So he combos into the incapacitator, and then you're forced to hold whatever mix-up he has. Overhead into it. You can't do it. All you can do is block or jump or press a button. But you can't do any special moves on it. You can duck it though. So, even though it is super fast, it is a high. I mean, he can just keep dashing them at you. Oh no, it costs his grenades. Oh, that's interesting to know. Oh, so it actually costs his... So like this, like the iron grenade, and like the ground pound, they actually cost his grenade as a resource. So if you can see, you can't really see underneath his jacket, but you see he has 2 grenades. So, if he uses both of these, that means he can't do either of his special moves for a while until they come back. And they take a while to come back. So, in his other variation, it'll be easier to see because that's sort of covered by the jacket. But he can only throw 2, and then they have to recharge. But yeah, obviously the scary bit about that is the fact that you cannot use... Yeah, that's a good idea, Mr. Douglas. Down one into that. Hey, Davey. How you doing, Douglas? You good? So, yeah. That's how to punish Terminator. I mean, that's all 3 of his variations. This is very much like, yeah, setup play. This is very much a setup variation. That's how to punish Terminator. Still, at the moment, people are up in the air. It's like, even in my chat at the moment, people saying, oh, yeah, Skynet, yeah. Easy classic. How you doing, man? Yeah, at the moment, people are saying he's either really, really good or he's not great. But what is inarguable is that he has every tool in the game. He's got command throw, he's got air grabs, he's got unblockables, he's got overheads, he's got lows, he's got good mids, he's got a 6 frame down 1. You know, he's got a running normal, he's got every type of throw in the game. You know, he's got command throws, he's got like string throws, he's got air grabs, he's got jumping air grabs. Yeah, so you can't whatever you can say, you can't argue that he's not got any tools. However, make sure, basically the moral is, make sure you flawless block string wise, make sure you flawless block his strings when you can, because a lot of those gaps, as we saw with Ford 3-2, which is his main go-to in that string, because it's his main pop-up, has a massive gap in it. So if you have a 7 frame normal, you can interrupt it. In the first variation, the lunge is safe, the ground pound is not safe. Be careful when he restands you with the shotgun, because he's plus 16, which means he's super at advantage. In Running Man, be wary of the Running Man, like just the stance. As I said, the running grab is a mid, and the punch is a high. So if you read the punch, you can punish, but just be careful about him cancelling into it, basically. And lastly, Final Judgment is like the setup based variation. Be careful of the iron grenade. If he amplifies it on block, it's -11, so you can punish it. And if he just whiffs it past you, you can punish it as well. But the main thing to be afraid of in this variation is the incapacitator, which means that you can't use meter. So just as I showed you, I knocked Devora down. She couldn't wake up, even though I set her to wake up. But it is a high, and both of those moves cost his resource. But yeah, so that's all from Terminator. I hope you've learned something from this guide. It's probably quite a long one because there's a lot of stuff to talk about. But yeah, if you like this, please give my other guides a view because I've got them on every character in the game. As I said, I haven't done anything on Variation 3 stuff just yet because I haven't really encountered any Variation 3s that I think need a guide about them yet. But maybe I'll do like a little all-encompassing Variation 3 guide for like the main ones that I see online and just go through those characters. Yeah, so please leave me a like, give me a subscribe. As I said, I'm recording this on my Twitch, which is twitch.tv/sodiumgym. Hit me on Twitter, @sodiumgym. Obviously, you're on my YouTube. And yeah, when all the other DLC characters come out, I'll do guides for those too. So thank you very much for watching, and stay salty. Take care, everyone.